Sidney Collin, you're the CEO and co-founder of Oro Devices, and I love that you're building this device that gives Parkinson's patients the ability to have mobility and independence. So tell me all about it. What are you building?
Thanks, Logan. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk to you. So yes, you said it. We're building a medical device. It's a non-invasive visual and auditory cueing device that attaches onto any cane, walker, or walking pole. And it uses these visual and auditory cues to help people with Parkinson's overcome freezing of gait, but it also is effective in stroke rehab, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy, progressive supranuclear palsy, to be able to improve mobility, decrease falls.
Okay, let's break that down a little bit. You said freezing of gait. What is that?
So freezing of gait is one of the most common and the most debilitating symptoms of Parkinson's disease. It's a mobility symptom. About 80% of people who have Parkinson's will eventually experience it. About 60% of people right now experience freezing of gait.
Walk me through what it's like for a patient. I mean, it seems very difficult.
Yeah, so it's medically defined as a sudden onset of immobility, but people will describe it as feeling like their feet are glued to the floor or stuck in a box of cement. So what happens is there's this lack of connection between the brain and the body. And it makes it so that no matter how hard you try, you can't take even one step. You're sending that signal to initiate movement, but that signal just doesn't get to the motor neurons that are activating your muscles. And it can come on instantly. You're walking through a doorway, you're switching terrain, your body's momentum continues forward, your feet are stuck to the floor, and often that results in falls.
Okay, so it's not just frustrating you can't walk, but it's dangerous because you could have a terrible fall.
Exactly, yes, and it is one of the leading causes of falls for people with Parkinson's disease.
Okay, so what is it you built? And I understand you brought something with you.
I did, yeah, I brought it here to show you. So we use the visual and auditory cues that are shown to be most effective in research to helping overcome freezing of gait. So the cues themselves have been shown to reduce falls by 40%, reduce the duration of freezing of gait episodes by 69%, and reduce the frequency of episodes from coming on by 43%, all through these non-invasive visual and auditory cues.
Okay.
So I can show you here, the visual cue that we use is a green laser line. I'm not sure if we can see it on the cameras here.
You can't see the floor, but there's a green laser line a foot in front of the...
We might be able to do, can we see this?
Yes, okay, we can see the line.
So you can see the line there. And then the auditory cue is a metronome.
Okay.
And you step to the beat.
Elegantly simple. A line and a beat.
Exactly. Yeah, in a device that can attach onto any cane, walker, or walking pole.
Okay.
And the idea is that you try and step over that green laser line or step to the beat of the metronome, and that change of intention behind the movement changes the neural pathways that are being activated in your brain and allows you to be able to restore mobility.
Interesting, interesting. And this is something that's been used in other areas before?
Yeah, so this is well known to be effective. Almost any physical therapy clinic that treats people with Parkinson's are already using these visual and auditory cues. It's standard practice, right? All we did was take these visual and auditory cues and make them portable so that people can take them outside of the clinic and use them at home to be able to go to the bathroom by themselves, walk around their house by themselves. For Jack, which I think we'll talk about in a minute, for him it was being able to go on a walk with his wife Sandy.
How did you get into this? Not every young entrepreneur in health has a passion for Parkinson's or a symptom of Parkinson's.
So I've always been obsessed with understanding how the brain works, how the body works, and how they interact. I studied biomedical engineering at Cal Poly. Every side project that I worked on was in brain-computer interfacing. Did some research in France doing EEG neurofeedback for children with ADHD. That research was published in the Journal of Clinical Neurophysiology. And then I came back to the US and I met this local veteran named Jack Brill, who lived with Parkinson's, and he suffered from this mobility symptom called freezing of gait, and he didn't have any effective way to help him overcome that. So essentially, this was a side project for me in school to be able to make this device for Jack to help him live his life.
What was that like to meet him and to understand his, the pain of his everyday challenge, to take it from sort of the theoretical to the personal?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time we gave him this device and we saw him being able to walk for the first time in years. I mean, Jack was in a wheelchair pretty much all the time because his freezing was so bad.
Got it.
And so being able to have this device and see him walk from his living room to his kitchen by himself, it was like night and day. I mean, he was crying, tears in his eyes when we gave this to him.
What does this mean for people at scale in terms of independent living and extending that?
I mean, our goal is to keep people active, right? It's to allow people to be able to maintain their mobility. Exercise is the only thing that has been shown to slow the progression of Parkinson's disease. So if we can get people up and moving more safely and confidently, then that will not only have an effect on every other factor of quality of life for that person, but it'll also actually slow the progression of their disease.
Got it. Okay, so you started a company called Oro Devices, and you created a device called NextStride.
That's correct.
So is this sort of the first of many devices? I mean, how do you sort of think about this?
Yeah, so the big picture here, I think there are two global problems that we're trying to solve. First one is fall prevention, and the second one is the aging in place market. You know, right now there are more people over the age of 65 than there are under the age of 5 right now, and we are not creating the technology that these people need to be able to effectively live their lives.
Yeah.
To get there, right, we start with this one product, focused in Parkinson's, then we expand into these other disease states, stroke, cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, PSP. And then we add data collection into this one product, which allows us to kind of expand what we're able to offer people and the information that we're able to give people. And then we build a portfolio of products that all falls under this non-invasive, at-home use mobility solution umbrella.
Yeah. It's reminding me of a conversation I had with the former chief medical officer of AARP, who talked about how, you know, there's aging in place and how important that is, but then there's also this idea of thriving as we age and creating the ability to be independent and to go out and live and do your life, not just age in a spot and just go through your years. But it feels like what you're giving people is the ability to live their life.
Yeah.
See their grandkids.
And yeah, and our mission aligns really well with AARP and what they're doing. We actually participated in AARP's innovation labs. We're part of their Age Tech collaborative. We work with them quite a bit to be able to get this device out to people who need it.
Awesome. Sidney, I love what you're building. I love the mission and the vision behind it. So I wish you the best. We'll be watching in 2022.
Thank you for having me, Logan. Appreciate it.
All right.